Indian origin journalist wins Pulitzer Prize for exposing China's detention camps for Muslims. Megha Rajagopal's Xinjiang series won the Pulitzer Prize in the International Reporting category. Minutes after she won, MS Rajagopal said she wasn't even watching the ceremony live because she wasn't expecting to win. She only found out when she received a call. Megha Rajagopal, an Indian origin journalist along with two contributors, has won the Pulitzer Prize for innovative investigative reports that exposed a vast infrastructure of prisons and mass internment camps secretly built by China for detaining hundreds of thousands of Muslims in its restive Xinjiang region. MS Rajagopal from BuzzFeed News is among the two Indian origin journalists who won the US Top Journalism Award on Friday. Tampa Bay Times, Neil Bedi won for local reporting. Neil Bedi, along with Kathleen Magori, has been awarded the prize for the series exposing a sheriff's office initiative that used computer modeling to identify people believed to be future crime suspects. About 1,000 people were monitored under the program, including children. Neil Bedi is an investigative reporter for the Tampa Bay Times. What Kathleen and Neil unearthed in Pasco County has had a profound impact on the community, said Mark Katz, Time executive editor. This is what the best investigative journalism can do, and why is it so essential? Ms. Rajagopal's Xinjiang series won the Pulitzer Prize in the International Reporting category. In 2017, not long after China began to detain thousands of Muslims in Xinjiang, was the first to visit an internment camp at a time when China denied that such places existed, BuzzFeed News said. In response, the government tried to silence her, revoking her visa and ejecting her from the country, BuzzFeed News wrote in its entry for the prize. It would go on cut off access to the entire region for most Westerners and STEMI journalists. The release of basic facts about detainees slowed to a trickle. Working from London and refusing to be silenced, Mrs. Rajagopalan partnered with true contributor Alison Killing, a licensed architect who specializes in forensic analysis of architecture and satellite images of building, and Christo Bach, a programmer who builds tools tailored for data journalists. The Blazing Xinjiang story sign desperately needed light on one of the worst human rights abuses of our time, said Mark Scopes, editor-in-chief of BuzzFeed News. Minutes after she won, Ms. Rajagopal told BuzzFeed News she wasn't even watching the ceremony live because she wasn't expecting to win. She only found out when Ms. Koff called to congratulate her on the victory. I am in complete shock. I did not expect this, Ms. Rajagopal had said over the phone from London. She said she was deeply grateful to the team of people who worked with her on this, including her collaborators Killing and Busek, her editor Alex Campbell, BuzzFeed News public relations team, and the organizations that funded their work, including the Pulitzer Center. Ms. Rajagopal also acknowledges the courage of the sources who spoke to them despite the risk and threat of retaliation against them and their families. I am so grateful they stood up and were willing to talk to us, she said. It takes so much unbelievable courage to do that. The three of them set out to analyze thousands of satellite images of the Xinjiang region, an area bigger than Alaska, to try to answer a simple question. Where were Chinese officials detaining as many as 1 million Uyghurs, Kazakhs, and other Muslim minorities? For months, the trio compared censored Chinese images with uncensored mapping software. They began with an enormous data set of 50,000 locations. Busek built a custom tool to sort through those images. Then the team had to go through thousands of images one by one, verifying many of the sites against other available evidence, BuzzFeed News wrote in its prize entry. They ultimately identified more than 260 structures that appeared to be fortified detention camps. Some of the sites were capable of holding more than 10,000 people, and many contained factories where prisoners were forced into labor. The groundbreaking technological reporting was also accompanied by extensive old-fashioned shoe leather journalism. Banned from China, Ms. Rajagopal instead traveled to its neighbor Kazakhstan, where many Chinese Muslims have sought refuge. There, Ms. Rajagopal located more than 24 people who had been prisoners in the Xinjiang camps, winning their trust and convincing them to share their nightmarish accounts with the world. Pulitzer Prize are awarded yearly in 21 categories. In 20 of the categories, each winner receives a certificate and a USD 15,000 cash award. The winner in the public service category is awarded a gold medal. Thank you.